Hello and welcome to this series of advanced mapping techniques for Euro Truck Simulator 2. This series will show you some state-of-the-art mapping techniques ProMods uses in bite-sized chunks, so you can easily apply them to your own map. Now, before we begin, this tutorial series assumes that you know the basics of mapping. If you don't know the basics of mapping, I would like you to redirect to the link in the description below. This contains another video tutorial series that will explain you the basics of mapping in ETS2. For those who do know the basic mapping techniques, we will continue with the first subject of the series, curves and slopes, and how to do them better. As you know, the ETS2 map editor works with nodes and will calculate the curve between two road sections or building sections or whatever. But there is a better way to do this, and this involves something we would like to call free node rotation. This video will show you the purpose of this free node rotation, how to activate it and how to work with it, and to get the most out of your curves and slopes. I've started the map editor and I have to demonstrate the question, why do we even bother with this? Well, I have here I have some of the oldest ProMods mapping work for me, and it is in Rotterdam. And as you can see, there are a lot of nodes here, a lot of these red nodes, with each of these nodes signify a road section. But there is a slight problem with that, and that is that it gets a bit wobbly, and that's something that doesn't look too good. This is not only wobbly in the horizontal direction, for instance, curve to the left, to the right, but also in the vertical direction, so up and down. This is something we do not really want. It's not really good for the driving experience, and it doesn't look visually it doesn't look too great as well. So the thing what we are going to do now is to reduce the number of nodes, but still keep the curves fluid as possible. Okay, what we're first going to do is select the delete tool, and we are going to delete some nodes here. And we reconnect this one here. I use the Alt key to force the reconnection. And as you see, is that this curve is automatically set it to a certain direction, but that looks a bit wobbly. So this is the main trick you're going to learn from this tutorial: free node rotation. Okay, so we go to the node selection tool, node properties tool, and we enable this thing, free rotation. What this enables us to do is that we can rotate this thing in any direction we want without it automatically stepping into another direction, which is really great if you want to make really smooth curves like this, and to set a curve in the direction you really want. For instance, I want to make it slope a bit upwards. I think it was the Z direction. Yes, it was the Z direction. I forget sometimes which rotation direction does what, so don't worry about that. So, and we have this, and we are going to extend the range to the left with 20 units. That'll be enough. Yeah, then I think that would do it. So we now have a road that looks much smoother because you only have to basically curve between 2 points. And this is also a way to make these curves a lot smoother by just reducing the number of nodes that it uses. So we are going to apply it again here and rotate in the Y direction. And I see that this curve may need to be moved towards here. And you can already see that it does not always apply to reduce the number of nodes. I use the middle mouse button to create a new node on existing stretch. This is also a very useful pro tip. And right, now we have a quite gentle curve. Much better than we had at earlier. I think I do need to raise this a bit. Slope to this. I think this can also be a bit higher. Yeah, part of mapping is improvisation, so not everything is really planned, but we now have a quite satisfactory curve. There is another thing I would like to apply and to demonstrate, and that is something that could also help the player a bit, is to give the curve a little bank. So it rolls over a bit to the left or the right. Let's see, I think minus is the wrong direction, but the roll direction, I would recommend you to keep these values between 4 and -4, otherwise this banking will be a bit too extreme and won't look that good. So I will give this a roll of 4 and this also a roll of 4. And as you can see that the lower half to the left half of the road is lower than the right half, and this helps a bit with the physics of the truck, so it will make more of a vertical curve instead of a horizontal curve when it goes around the curve. And this is also applied a lot in real life, so I would recommend you to use this if you can. And another use I will demonstrate here. For instance, this prefab is pretty straight and pretty flat, and these nodes have purpose to keep the other road half straight as well, but they don't have free node rotation applied to them. So what I'm going to do is to make them also perfectly straight and perfectly flat. So I first need to align them. This is like this. Okay, now they are aligned. And now I just copy pitch, roll and yaw to this node, and pitch here is 0. And I need to add 180 degrees to this one, because it's on the other side and in the other direction. And it's most likely because this thing is straight, the values for this are the same. And voila! This part of the road is also perfectly straight now. And it will leave no gaps between this part of this prefab and this side of the road. It may look a bit wobbly, but because this is one of my earlier mapping work. Where you can use free node rotation is to make some perfect 90-degree curves or 45-degree curves or whatever. I will place a road tool with the new item tool here. Let's see what's a good road for demonstration. Let's go for this one. Well, I make just 3 nodes. And I will just remove the railing from here. So I have 3 road nodes, and you see I want to make a 90-degree curve here, but all these roads are rotated automatically. So what I'm going to do is set here the free node rotation on, and do this especially for this part of the road and this part of the road, where I just set to 0, which is straight to the north. And with only 2 nodes and free node rotation, you have a perfect 90-degree curve. And maybe super fine on, just to demonstrate how perfect this curve is. As you can see, it's a perfect 90-degree curve, and you can apply this for other rotations too. If you do need to know a bit of arithmetics, but some very basic primary school arithmetics, but you're probably going to figure out how that works with a bit of creativity and a bit of improvisation. Some other notes about curves is the curve radius, and this is not something you apply with a tool, but it's something that you have to keep in mind when designing a map. For basically, the higher the speed, the bigger curve radius you want, and here we have an example of SES Germany where this is completely not the case. This is a really tight curve for some that you may be taken at 80 or 90 kilometers per hour with some luck. But usually you won't get to that speed because this curve is just really tight. And this is You also see this in for rest stops in Germany in the STS map. And even this curve is really tight for a traffic that would be allowed to go 130 kilometers per hour, and they try to solve this with speed cameras with 90 kilometers per hour speed limits, but that is not the thing that you really want. So now I'm going to browse to another section that we have built in ProMods, and we have allowed more gentle curves, usually also with this banking, and we have purposely designed this to allow greater speed. And even here, if we assign it's a tight curve, then even then it's not really that tight as I've shown you earlier. And this also holds true for slopes. Trucks have the tendency to lose a lot of speed when they go up a hill, and so you have to keep in mind that with the design that you don't make the slopes too steep. And in case you do make them steep, do add some facilities that will facilitate slow trucks. In this case, this is very specific for this interchange, is that the truck traffic that wants to continue on the Bundesautobahn 5 usually in normal conditions would sort here on the left. But since the trucks are really slow, they are all on the right, and since we don't want cars that go over 100 kilometers per hour crash into trucks that maybe are driving 30 or 40 kilometers per hour, the trucks have to keep to the right and they have to use the bypass here. So, but this is about, if you want to look from the side, this is about the steepest slope that would be allowed on a motorway or even motorway ramps. And if you would go any steeper, it would really look bad or unrealistic. Another note is that we don't want slopes to go wobbly up and down, up and down. If you want to let them go up and down, do it smoothly like this. So it goes up. It has a really smooth curve, hill top, and it goes down again, and then it goes up again. And it doesn't really go up and down over a short distance. So you have to spread the unnecessary up, and you have to remove the unnecessary point where it goes up and down, and maybe level it more out. And finally, something that you may not know is that you can put prefabs on slopes. And this may be a bit tricky, but normally if you place a prefab, it's always in the flat XY plane. But with some basic techniques, for instance using the end key in the camera mode, you can adapt the slope of this prefab, and you can see it goes up and down. And this is a way where you can actually try to keep the slope more consistent while adding some prefabs to your slope. And for this ramp, it goes down, but instead of being flat again here after a small slope, it will go down immediately, still continue to go down, and so this slope will remain smooth. And these are some tips for your map building that you have to keep in the back of your mind. Well, I hope this will have taught you some more tricks about how to work with the curves and with the slopes. And the next time I will cover bridges, how to make them better. So I will see you next time.